I got a few issues. One issue is that I tried to watch this show a day later, a couple of days later, um, and I could not watch the show because it wasn't uploaded on Match yet. So why? Why? You can't even do that right. You can't even put the episode up in a timely manner right. So I had to go to other sources to try to watch this show. And I wish I wouldn't have watched the show because I don't know, like the show was all over the place. AEW was in Cincinnati. The building that they were in was very small. It was a very small building. You got that big set in there. When the set takes up at least 40% or so, if this was TNA, if this was even NXT, if this was MLW, all these things would have been all right. But that big set, like you don't have to have that big set for this small arena. Like I'm not even sure how many people were there, but I don't know, man. Like the attendance is getting low. This is starting to become, this is where they're at. This is nothing but a highly funded indie promotion. And now when they go to these smaller buildings, it's exactly what you expect it to be. I don't even think that place was sold out because when I looked at the upper seats, it had like spacing in between the chairs. So it's like, is it even, I don't know. But this was maximum carnage. That's exactly what it was. This show was, as far as the wrestling on this show, I did like some parts of this show. Some things that just has me scratching my head that these things need to be addressed. Kenny Omega coming back to the ring. I like that match that he had with Brian Cage. It was a good, hard-hitting match. Brian Cage went after the guts, because, you know, Kenny's coming back from diverticulitis. He's been gone for nearly a year. It's good to see him back here. He looks healthy, in good form, in good shape. And I really liked the match tonight. The match was it too early for Kenny to come back because he come back from that life-threatening injury, career-threatening injury. And to see him back in the ring and putting in that work and wrestling with Brian Cage, who's a big dude, like Jesus. And it was a hard-hitting physical match because Brian Cage is who he is. But the match was really good. Kenny got a good match out of him for the opener. But then after it was all over, Don Callis and who's that other guy? The Murder Hawk. I'm forgetting his name. I don't know. But they came in and they jumped Kenny because they have beef with him, because I still don't know what that is. I still don't know why they got beef with him. Because I haven't watched AEW prior to all these years. I mean, I looked at it, but I never really, paid too much close attention. The funny part about that is when Takeshita came out, and he came out with his belt, and he's getting in the ring, and he bows up at Kenny, and he's holding the belt up, and Kenny's like, yeah, and Kenny moved the belt out the way, like, I don't give a fuck about this shit, man, let's go. And they was trading forearms and stuff like that. Then Will Ospreay comes out, helps Kenny, but then he gets messed up. So there's a tag match coming up here soon. Now, with Will Ospreay, he's one of your top baby faces, but this trying to save people and all this and that stuff. But this is what your baby faces should do. Your baby faces should come out there and try to save the other baby face instead of you just getting your ass completely whooped in the middle of the ring and then that's it. But this is going to lead to a tag match somewhere down the line, somewhere. But I really thought Kenny Omega had a good showing, and I'm really happy to see him back. So it's going to be interesting to see where they go with that. I think that Kenny Omega should be the one to dethrone John Moxley or Moxley. It shouldn't be Darby. It should be Kenny Omega because he came back from diverticulitis. AEW's in shambles. You got the Death Riders going ham on everybody. Like, Kenny Omega should be the guy to beat Moxley for the title. I think that would save everything. But if this is going to go towards Darby Allin, I don't know. MVP made his in-ring debut in a six-man tag, the Hurt Syndicate against Private Party and Mark Briscoe. Fine match. The match was fine. I liked the comeback that the Private Party had when Mark Briscoe and they got the hot tag and then, came in and they did everything that everyone else did, the flippy stuff, After a while, that stuff gets kind of like numbing after a while when you start to see it because everyone does it in this company. And what's the takeaway from that match is that the Hurt Syndicate they're the giants in a land of people who don't look the part. If you looked at that tag match, you see 3 big dudes on one side, and then you see on the other side 3 smaller dudes. And that's what AEW is like for the Hurt Syndicate over there because everyone's so small. So when I was watching this match, I'm like, yeah, they got to sell for these guys, but at the same time, they shouldn't because they should just run through them, which they did. They beat them in the end. And it was easy. Shelton Benjamin just did like a super kick and won. He did a German suplex and then won. Bobby Lashley didn't really have too much of an offense. He gave Mark Quinn a terrific spine buster. He got so high up in the air. But other than that, the Hurt Syndicate pick up the win. You have to know that they're going to get these tag titles because the tag team division over in AEW is nothing. There's no... Outside of Private Party, I can't think of any other tag team really that's over there off the top of my head. But looking at this match is telling because they don't have anyone over there that can really oppose them. Because Bobby Lashley is a monster. He's like He-Man, what Tony Schiavone says. He's a giant in the land of small people. And so these are the people that he's going to work with. And they just handle them with ease. Hurt Syndicate get the win. Hope they get the tag titles. They need to rebuild. I don't know what you do with Private Party because they're not a good tag team. I just don't like it. The shots coming out, the gyrating and stuff like that. It just seems childish. And then these guys are in the ring and they're all business. It's like your uncle's beating up on your nephews, just like I said, like last week. It's bully ball. Like if you go to like on the court, on the basketball court, and you say you got next, and then you look on the court and you see these big dudes and you're a small dude. And then, you can't get no rebounds because they're bigger than you and they're swatting you down. That's exactly what this match was. It was a statement match that we're coming for these titles. The promo that everyone is talking about this week is MJF and Jeff Jarrett. I didn't really think it went on too long. They kept my attention just because of the back and forth that they were going at. MJF came out and said, Jeff Jarrett is the last person you see before your company dies. That was a good liner, not gonna lie. But the promo went on. Jarrett talking about MJF's mom's a call girl, a whore, a skank, slut. that his dad got with her and stuff like that, and then insinuated that his girl slept with the wrestlers in the back. She just giving it out. And then MJF came back at him talking about Owen. It was a good promo back and forth. MJF fired up, but my thing is, now I'm interested to see this match because this will be like a legend, someone that can like go in there and pace the match at a good pace, and he can guide you through it to get to the wherever you're trying to go. I think that match is going to be pretty good between MJF and Jeff Jarrett. I think it's going to be a sleeper. I think Jeff Jarrett is going to prove that he still got it somewhat. But in the end, MJF should win. I'm over this Ricochet. With a small crowd like this, it makes it even more just embarrassing. Like, he's not that guy. He's too corny, bro. He's too corny. Even with a suit and the glasses, he's coming out with the scissors in his pocket. He's too corny. I'm done. I'm done with Ricochet over in AEW. I really just, it's over with. Ricochet comes out there. The crowd is so small. He's acting like you're in this big stadium, this big arena. You're looking around and all. Like, everyone was doing that tonight. Looking around like, you know, you got a lot of people here. Bro, you ain't got no one in here. This is like if it's in like a gymnasium somewhere. Ain't no one in here. He's telling everybody to be quiet. He's taking so long to get whatever he has to say out. It doesn't make any sense because you don't have the crowd to back up your mannerisms in the ring like these people are booing you out the building, which they aren't. So he comes out here. He's finna say something, but everybody's like, the smallest of boos and chants, he's going out looking for that person, like, hey, be quiet. And all. I'm like, bro, this is corny. So then Nana comes in from the other side of the room. You can see him in the far back because this venue is so small. You can see him lurking. And he hops the barricade. He gets into the ring. He hits Swerve in the back. Then starts to dance. That shit was funny. Swerve comes out there looking all mad and menacing. I'm like, bro, look at this crowd. He has a chain on. He was about to hit him with the chain. Ricochet ran out the ring. And he ran out to the back. The venue's so small, mind you, that you can see everything. So Ricochet gets out. He's on the floor, cowering away. And Swerve is about to approach him. Ricochet threw the security guard in front of him and ran out the door. Ran out to the door. And it must be a venue next to a highway or a road because you saw cars coming by. And it's not working. It's not working. I don't know. At this point, these shows are starting to become, it is what it is. It's there. But I'm not interested in seeing Swerve and Ricochet because the build to it is not all the way there. Like, Swerve comes out there like he's big shit on campus. He lost it for me last year because he never got a one-on-one rematch for the title. You lost against Bryan Danielson, whatever, but you never got a rematch for the title. None of these people get rematches for the title. Samoa Joe, he came out there. Yeah, I haven't seen him since I don't know when. But what are we doing here? These people are just being wasted away. And I'm not even like getting to like, okay, since we talking about Samoa Joe, he came back. You come back to a dead crowd. You come back to a crowd that has like literally no one there. Does anybody care that Samoa Joe came back? And he came back to help Hook. You're throwing him back into a nothing angle. At least you could have had him come out and attack Moxley. You at least could have had him doing something. But he comes back to this, back to a middle card feud. I don't want to see Christian anymore. He shouldn't have that little contract that gives him a world title shot. I don't care. Okay, so Shibata is with Hook and Joe, and now they're going to be feuding with that family. All these cliques, man. All these cliques. All these groups. Like, Jesus. It's too much. You're doing too much. I wouldn't have Joe come back here. I would have had Joe came back at Grand Slam, a place where I have at least a nice sized crowd. At least. There's hardly no one in these fucking building. And you bring this man back here. They doing everything backwards. Like, I don't understand. Like, it's not that hard. It's not that hard to write these shows like this. It's not that hard to put people in places that they should be. But when you have somebody who ran a junior newsletter for Wrestling Observer, and when you have somebody who had his little fantasy wrestling league when he was a kid, and now he's a billionaire spending daddy's money, and now he can go out and actually get these people. And now each and every week, he doesn't even know what to do. He's just putting these people together, just seeing what the fuck happens. He don't care about, hey, I've been pushing this guy right here who needs to be the champion. Now I'm just going to let this guy come in and just do whatever he wants to do. That's literally what this show was, is people doing whatever that they want to do. I don't even know what's going to happen next week because I'm not really looking forward to it, really. To be completely honest with you, I'm not looking forward to it. Like, what are we doing here? So they had the Casino Royale match for the women. Toni Storm won. But this is my problem with this. She came back. This is the Hobbs situation all over again. So she comes back from losing the title to Mariah May. And she's going through a transition where she doesn't know who she is or whatever the case may be. She comes back at the end of Dynamite. And she's Toni Storm. Not the glamour or whatever, but she's Toni Storm. And then the next week, you don't see her. You don't see her the next week. You don't see her the next week after that. This woman has won 6 matches on Collision. And not on Dynamite. And then she's not thought about because no one watches Collision. So she comes back here and she's in this battle royal and she wins. Now, if you was paying attention to Dynamite for all these weeks and you ain't seen Toni Storm, and now she wins out of nowhere. These are the decisions that I'm talking about. I don't understand. So she's gonna go to Grand Slam in Australia to face Mariah May, and gonna be in the title match. Whoop-de-doo. I don't care. You got Jeff Jarrett getting talked to by Dustin Rhodes back there. Outlaws never die. You know, you got these 2 old people, AARP, back here. Yes, of course you would say that because you're the same age as Jeff Jarrett. You need to sit your ass down too. Getting on the internet saying, please stop talking trash about AEW, guys. Wrestling is wrestling. Nah, man. It's easy for you to say that. We looking at this shit each and every week. This shit don't make no sense. Main event, Moxley versus Hobbs. This match should never happen. It should have never happened. I'm not gonna spend my I'm so tired of blood, bro. I'm tired of Moxley. I'm tired of these Death Riders. I'm tired of everything. I haven't seen that AEW championship because it's been in a fucking briefcase ever since this guy fucking won it. Blood everywhere. I'm so desensitized from watching blood because they do it every single week sometimes. So it's like they think that if you see blood, then that means that the match is good. And the match is not good. The interference by Marina, Hobbs biting this man's ear, channeling Mike Tyson, and blood everywhere. I want to taste your blood and all this and that. Man, if you like this shit, you like it. But there's a lot of people who just eats this shit up. I don't. I'm not one of those people. Now, as far as like the match is concerned, it was all right. Besides all of this other bullshit. So Marina hits him with the briefcase. He rolled him up. He kicked out. He hit him with the double arm DDT. That didn't work. You just get him up, put him in a choke. This does nothing for Hobbs. Now, where does he go after this? Where does he go? They beat this man flat in the middle of the ring. For what? So what is he going to do next week? What is he going to do next week? Nothing. This is your Wardlow right here. Remember when Samoa Joe choked out Wardlow? You never saw him again. And now the same is going to happen with Hobbs. Why should I see him again? Why should I watch him? Well, why should I get behind him? Nobody was out here. This woman interfered. He got beat by a woman and a man. And then he got choked out. I'm tired of this Death Rider stuff. It doesn't make sense. It's stupid. It's not there. At first, I was like, you know what? I'm starting to like Moxley's character. But as we go along with it, his character is not matching up with what he should be doing. Not all of this death-defying stuff and killing everybody. Putting plastic bags over people's head, pouring bleach down the throat. Why can't you just be a heel? Wear your championship. I don't know where you go with this. You beat Hobbs in the middle of the ring, flatter than a plate full of piss, and now this guy is just going to be tossed into the ether. Why should I see him? Why should I care? I don't know. Besides that Kenny Omega match in the opener, there was nothing else on this show that made you want to sit and watch. These crowds are just getting lower and lower. Meanwhile, the people who are at these shows are like the hardcore of the hardcore, and it's starting to make them look not cool. Because all of y'all are crowding into this small ass place over this shit right here. Meanwhile, Tony Khan is making 12-man tag matches for no reason at all against people, just putting people together, losers together. So why should I want to watch the Outrunners, who are known losers, Hobbs, who's a known loser now? Why should I watch them on Collision in a 12-man tag? I don't know. It's like a lot of fucking people. And people on Twitter are starting to be like, Tony, you need to calm down with all this shit, cuz. But he ain't gonna calm down. This is what this place is. And I don't understand why it's like this. But that was your Maximum Carnage. I'm interested to see what the numbers are on the show. I really want to see how many people were here. Saturday night, I'll be back. And I'll try to give some insight on how many people were here and the ratings for this show, because another week, I don't even have anything to smoke. I should have when watching this show. I'm done. Like, share, subscribe. You know, if I never see you, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. Man, I'll check y'all. We'll be back next week. Hopefully this show can make a turnaround.